Hello there, welcome to this week of shows. I've changed the background slightly, just for variation. Also, there's going to be two different videos with two idiots involved this week. We've got the Speed Racer one, and we've got one about post-apocalyptic movies. They're coming up this week. I've also another channel with Solitary Ronin called Ronin NAZARIN. We have a new video up about the Bergman. So there's a lot of other stuff. So I'm just there's only going to be like 2 videos this week from me myself, which puts a lot less stress on me to do these ones. So that's quite good. So I'm going to start off with this one, which is all about Dolittle, and it's now in a series which I'm calling "What the Hell Was That?" I mean, I did a video a while ago titled "What the Hell Was That?" but now I'm doing a series, which is just like movies that are like stuff like Cats, which I've done as well, where it's like you're watching like, what the hell am I watching? What is this? I just thought it was actually worth its own series. So I've asked people to suggest films. So feel free to suggest films on this on the YouTube channel if there's something there that you think may be interesting. I may watch, I may not. I've already had a variety of suggestions. I've already got a few of my own that I want to do. So I'll see how it goes. I just want to think of anything to try. So the first one is Dolittle. Dolittle is a notorious disaster already. It was directed and directed by Stephen Gaghan, or Gaghan, or whatever you pronounce his name, who wrote Traffic and directed Syriana. So he started off well. It stars Robert Downey Jr. and also produced by him and his wife, and a couple of people that drove her off and things. It was a big budget film with a lot of talent involved, so it suggested that it should be good. It was meant to be a children's film, or a family film, basically about Dr. Dolittle. Since there's been film versions of Dr. Dolittle before, the Rex Harrison one, which is a massive bomb in the 60s. Then there was the Eddie Murphy films in, you know, the 2000s, which were comedies. So there's been Dr. Dolittle films before. So they decided to go back to the source material because the Eddie Murphy ones were set in a modern world. So they went back to the original material, and they assumed, I think, because Robert Downey Jr. was big because of the Iron Man films and the Marvel stuff, plus he was in Sherlock Holmes, which was a big hit, which was taking a source material everyone knew and reinventing it. They must have thought this would be a similar thing. Unfortunately, it's never worked out. It's a film that you can tell has been hacked about. It was notoriously hacked about. It did massive reshoots. They brought another director on to help the director add comedy to it. And the film, you can see instantly, the film is a mess. The film's a disaster. It's like, it's less entertaining than the disaster of Cats. Cats is entertaining in a bad way, where it's a train wreck and you're enjoying how much of a train wreck it is. This is not. This is just bad. This is like horribly bad. It also feels like they've cut so much of the film out and added stuff that you don't need to try and make it look a bit more normal. It just looks like a film that was very odd, that they didn't know what to do with, so they thought they'd try and sort it and end up making it worse. That's what the way the film looks. Basically, the film follows Dolittle, who, in the one good scene in the film is the opening credits where they describe the story of Dolittle, where he was a young doctor who talked to animals. He fell in love. He and his wife went on adventures. She eventually died. He became a recluse. That's done in animated form. And it works really well, and you're thinking, well, the rest of the films of this maybe it's not as bad as I heard. The rest of the film's terrible. Since it becomes live action, it becomes absolutely awful. The problem is everything's just off. The whole film is just off. You just feel they haven't worked it out. They didn't work it out before they started shooting, and it became this thing that never really clicked. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. as Dolittle, he's not bad actually. I mean, he has this weird Welsh accent, which is actually quite interesting. And he's doing the eccentric thing he's done before, but he's doing it as a sort of sadder figure, and there's potential there. What he's doing, there's potential. Because he's a good actor and he has interesting ideas, it's not terrible. It's like, okay, this needs to be shaped within the film to do something interesting with it. And it's not shaped, like, at all. It's just there. And it just sucks the life out of the room because they haven't worked out where he's placed within the rest of the film. They didn't really figure out, okay, this is what he's doing, and let's ensure before we start that the rest of the film works with this to make it deliver. It just doesn't deliver. It just doesn't come together at all. So his thing's a mess, but it's not like an uninteresting mess. It's the most interesting part of the film is like he's doing this odd Welsh guy who's very damaged and who's kind of selfish and who's not the easiest person to get along with. But he's not a bad person either, he's just like difficult. It's like if a sane production had seen this and worked around it and worked with it, you could have had a good film still. There wasn't the disaster of some of the reviews have said. It's like, there's something interesting there, but that's the most interesting part of this disaster, because the rest of it feels like they never worked that out. They never worked out how to work him into this more family adventure in an interesting way, because it could have worked fine. And there's like a character who's trying to be his apprentice, who's like the eyes of the film, and he's not bad either, but they don't do anything with him beyond you're the eyes of the film and you're the heart of the film and all the animals love you and they protect you and stuff. But they set that up and they go no further with it. It's just that's it. They don't really give the little young actor much beyond that arc. So he isn't really given anything interesting to do. He's just given the route A to B to C to be go from a nobody to somebody who's a good apprentice to Dolittle. But they don't really. They've got the cliche of it, but they haven't really worked out the details of it beyond that. I'm not sure if they had or hadn't, if that's a reshoot thing, or they cut stuff, but in the film it just feels like he's a very rote character. And he's the character meant to be with, so that doesn't really work either. There's also the problem with the animals themselves, is they look very CGI. They don't look like animals, they look like a CGI program trying to approximate animals, but they don't really work. They're humanized because they have to talk, and it just does not really work at all. And also so that the young kid can learn how to talk to animals as well, so he can hear what they're saying. That happens within about 2 days of the story, which makes the Dolittle's achievement seem really easy, and it's like that kind of takes away from everything. That takes away from the magic of what he's meant to do. It's called a plot device. Also, the animals just have a lot of modern jokes that don't work within the context of the world you're trying to build. You're trying to build this world, this kind of fairy tale world. It's very old fashioned. It's set in the Victorian era, it seems, and it's just not working. It's just like the animals have all these modern jokes, like the Godfather jokes, and a lot of modern references, but obviously were added later to give the film like a more modern feel, to try and sell the film. But they don't work at all in the context, they just pull you out of what's already getting done. And there's a lot of visual design which is potentially interesting. You see a lot of like bridges getting built, you see a lot of like very steampunky feeling to a lot of it, like Dolittle uses the animals as technology as well, which adds a visual interest, and the animals protect him and the animals love him, and he's trying to help them with their problems. But because it's just him talking to them and there's lots of modern jokes, that gets pulled away. But they never really worked out how to make Downey Jr.'s weird performance and the animals mix properly so that there was constant drama within this fantastical world. So you were in a world that you were curious about. Because you're not curious about this world at all, it's just like things happen in it. And they build stuff up and then suddenly it's gone as if it's been cut out of the film. Because there's basically only like, there's an introduction which seems to last too long of Dolittle. Then there's the journey, which is the thing the film's sold on. But there's only two things happen in the journey, which is they're fighting at sea. So that's one set piece. Then they go to this island of where the father of Dolittle's dead wife is, and he wants revenge on Dolittle. And then they get to the ending which what they're looking for. So you've got an introduction, two set pieces, then an ending. I mean, it's meant to be an adventure story. There's meant to be like 5 or 6 things before you get to the ending. And the film seems to be very much trying to be Pirates of the Caribbean, like having lots of weird adventures, but they don't actually have adventures, they have events that happen, but half of them seem to have been cut out of the film, and then an ending. And an ending is not very satisfying. And it's just, it's fighting a dragon who has a bad stomach, really, and that's it. And you've got a weak villain. Michael Sheen plays the villain, who's a jealous guy, or a jealous scientist who hates Dolittle, which I've seen before. Sheen does what he can with it, but there's nothing there. And again, it's a part that feels like it's been cut out. So, what's the use of that? You know, it's like you hire a good actor, then give him nothing to do, really. But this is a film that does feel like half the film's not there. It feels like they've shot a lot more than actually is there. And that's a shame, because the world is potentially interesting. It's just like it hasn't really been developed properly. Or it has been developed, but what was developed was so weird that they couldn't sell it, so they cut most of it out. Because it just feels there's massive sequences that aren't there. It just feels like it sets something up. They leave everything in the introduction so they can pad out the film. Then they've cut out so much the middle part, and then they've got an ending that feels like it was added later on, because it doesn't feel like it builds from what they had. So it's just this disaster of, you know, a lead performance that's interesting, but it seems to belong in a different film. Added reshoots for jokes that don't work within the context of the world, and massive holes in the plot where there seems to be bits missing, and massive holes in the story. It feels like there's a story that starts, stops, and eventually goes nowhere because there's no context for anything, and it feels like half the stuff you need there is missing. Like it's setting stuff up that's never paid off, or it's been paid off in this new added scene that isn't very satisfying. And they've a really weak ways to get to A to B now because they need to cut out stuff. That's what it feels like. I don't know what the actual first script was. I don't know if this is all there ever was. But if this is all there ever was, they shouldn't have made the film in the first place, because there wasn't enough story there in the first place. But if there was, obviously it was too weird. So it feels like a film that was just suddenly, it was just weird. It came across, they shot the film, they put it together, and it was just weird, and they looked at it and goes, what did we do with this? This is odd. Because I think they were expecting a crowd-pleasing film, and it was sold to them as, producers as, it's a crowd-pleasing Robert Downey Jr. film where you can talk to animals and he goes on an adventure, sort of like Pirates of the Caribbean. But this loses the character stuff, doesn't give anyone anything interesting to do, and just has this nothing at the centre. Because it seems to have been gone, it seems to have been pulled out. The thing that you have sold it on was how weird it could possibly be with the lead performance and this world. But instead that's pulled out and you're just giving jokes. So it feels like instead of having a story, there's a panic, like it's too weird, so we're going to throw jokes in that don't really work within the world. I mean, there's an odd time here or there that looks like it's going to work a little bit, which is when you see Ralph Fiennes as a lion who's very neurotic. That's interesting. And it's 5 minutes, and you're thinking, if this was a film, if this kind of stuff was a film that they made and was too weird, that's interesting, but what we get in replacement is just not interesting. It's just a lot of lame jokes, and it's just really bad. So you end up hating the film more and more as it goes on. So it starts out, you're thinking, maybe it's not as bad as it's you know, its reputation. Then it just goes on, and there's just lots of jokes that are really obvious. And you have a lot of supporting characters that don't really do much. Antonio Banderas shows up as the father-in-law wanting revenge, and he's fun. But he's doing something he's done before a million times, but at least he's having a bit of fun. He's like the only one who seems to be having fun. It's one of those films that you feel it's been reshot and reshot, that even the actors are starting to get fed up in the reshoots, because it's like Robert Downey Jr. does seem a bit bored sometimes. Like, he's been doing this for a long time. Suddenly it's like they've been shooting these scenes again and again. It's kind of like Ben Affleck in Justice League, where you're making a film you didn't quite sign on for, and you're shooting it and reshooting it, and you can see the performance sometimes that this person's tired because they came aboard in good faith, and it's just constant changes, you know. It's that kind of feeling of a film. But at least with Justice League, at least they reshot stuff and made a fun film. This is just not fun. This is just this disaster. They should have just released the original version and get it out of the way, because at least that might have been an interesting failure. This is just an uninteresting failure. This is just boring. So there it is. What the hell was this? I don't know what it was. It was a disaster. It was just one of those really weird films that didn't work. And it feels that all the things they tried to do to help it made it worse. So it's recommended if you want a train wreck, but a boring train wreck. It's not a Cats level train wreck. This is just a boring train wreck. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll come back with some more of these. What the hell was this? I've got a few worked out what I'm going to do. But I'll see you soon with another video, which is going to be about other films I watched during the coronavirus shut-in that I would never cover as a full video, but I'll talk about the films anyway, because some of them are quite fun. Right, bye for now.